Today I'm going to talk about a project we're working on specifically and to give an update from one of our previous webinars we had with you. But the important thing I want to share with you today is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try to educate you on how we're doing things, why we're doing things a certain way, what are the strategic advantages that we try to implement so that you can learn and apply it yourself. So we're not just thinking, hey, invest with us. What we're saying is look at what we're doing, but also learn the principles so that you can implement them as well. And so hopefully you'll get some of those nuggets as well. Now, again, I am going to talk about our fund as well, which is part of the vehicle we're using for these strategies. So obviously I've got to have this legal description here. But anyway, what I do like right now about what we're doing is with our new investment strategies, we're really taking the principles that has taken us over 15 plus years to develop, and we're putting it in one vehicle that allows us to really go to that next level. And I'll talk more about our Fund 3 in just a minute. But with that said, before I really start talking about this particular project and giving you guys an update, I want to share with you our secret sauce, because in most cases, a lot of people will come to me and say, Rick, what kind of dollars did you spend on getting off market deals? What kind of strategies did you implement to find these opportunities? But right here, this very quote is one of the most important quotes that you need to think about. You need to think about long-term and having the right network, because at the end of the day, your network is your net worth. And so the project that I'm going to highlight today didn't come because I spent thousands of dollars on online marketing. It didn't come because I was doing direct mail. It came because we've been doing this consistently for almost 20 years with our team and his capital as a brand for over 15 years. And those relationships that we've established, that we've been consistent with, those have now become channels of opportunity, and we get access to deals nobody even knows about, including the project that I'm excited to share with you today. Now, the second piece that I want you to think about, in addition to focusing on building your network and connecting with guys from REG to grow yourself, the next principle is having the right investment philosophy. And you'll probably hear me preach this till the day I die, but this is our philosophy, especially for 2021. We believe that success doesn't come from one deal. It comes from diversification. And the way that we do that is we use what we call our 40-40-20 plan. What the 40-40-20 plan is, in a very quick summary, is we look at our money that we're allocating and we say, is any of this money growing quickly for us? And that's what we call our short-term gains. And we also call it appreciation. So 40% of our assets, whether it's residential or commercial, we want a short-term gain, and we want something that we're buying distressed today so that we can realize that value in the short term. But then we take those profits and we want to invest them in what we call the second bucket, which is 40% cash flow. Now, mark my words when I say this, cash flow is the key to the long-term success and wealth of your business. So if you're doing only the short-term gains, like many investors are doing, you are very short-sighted and you're not building that long-term wealth that you need to build. And so that's what we talk about, 40% cash flow. Now, personally, as a company, we lend money, we buy commercial rental properties and residential. So one of the ways that we connect with investors is we lend money. And by lending money, you'll be amazed at how many opportunities we get access to. So in a minute, I'll share with you the benefits of doing the lending as well. And then lastly, we have what we call our 20% higher risk, higher reward. Now, higher risk may be that we're going to a place that most people aren't familiar with investing in, or we have a development opportunity, or we're buying something extremely distressed because as a team, we feel very confident in our diligence that we can make that investment much, much more valuable and much more successful over time. But if we bet it all on the whale will eat us. So our philosophy is focus on appreciation, grow your cash flow, and then begin to implement the strategies that give us the highest possible return as possible. So with that said, today I'm going to talk about my 20%. We are currently working on an amazing project that we call our higher risk, high reward deal. And what's cool about it is not only a project that we as his capital are doing, but this is actually one of the projects in phase 1 that our Fund 3 investors are participating with us on. So it's really cool. So I'm going to take you not to somewhere in Arizona, not to Florida where I am. I'm going to take you to beautiful Tulum, Mexico. And so today, the very first thing I want you to understand is you have to have an inside track if you're considering going overseas on projects. For those that don't know, we've worked in Europe. We've done a lot of different projects. In fact, we owned a castle in Ireland. And even though that was pretty cool and exciting, to be honest with you, this project completely excites me far beyond those expectations. So let me kind of give you a quick rundown so you understand why his capital decided to start getting involved in Tulum, Mexico, of all places. So the first thing you need to understand is if you're ever going to visit Tulum, there's only really one airport right now, and that is in Cancun, which is what you see right now on the screen. Cancun, of course, very famous in its own right, is pretty much Americanized, right? And so a lot of people over the years have really wanted to get out of that bubble and try to find a place where they can experience quality of life, that they can experience the jungle and still have fun on the beach. And so if you want to do that, all the people from around the world in the States will have to drive that 307 all the way down to Tulum, which on average is about an hour and a half. Now, I want you to think this for just a moment. In America alone, these are just Americans. There's some stats for you to get a picture of why I was interested. In America alone, last year, even through COVID, we had over 2.5 million people for the year from America visiting Tulum. And that shows you a quick graph of the actual states that represent those 2.5 million people. Now that's cool. That tells me that there is consistent demand. People are coming from all over the world to hang out in the Mecca Tulum. Now, why did his get excited? Because you see, leveraging our network, we found that even before this was announced, and now it's in the news and it's in the media, but we found out that Cancun itself was going to have a planned development in the future of actually creating a new airport hub. And they're announcing that they're going to begin those strategies from the government in 2023. So knowing that, we knew that we were in a site that's already successful. There's a lot of demand. It's beautiful. It's on the beach. But now we know from insider information prior to this going public that there's an airport that potentially can become an international hub exclusively for Tulum. So just imagine if it's already successful now, when you're driving an hour and a half to 2 hours, what would happen if you could just land there and be there in 10, 15 minutes? So that's one of the things. But if that isn't powerful enough, this is something that's happening right now as of 2021. What the actual country of Mexico has decided to do is to invest 10 billion US dollars starting 2021 to develop this infrastructure for a bullet train that will take all of its visitors to go around the entire Yucatan Peninsula so that they can experience the entire Mexican Mayan culture. And what you'll see, there's ruins, and you'll see that it's going all the way around, and it leads us to Tulum. So not only are we now going from one road, the 307 that leads to Tulum, we're potentially over the next couple of years going to see an airport that takes you direct, and add to this beautiful component a $10 billion project that is actually going to connect everyone in a bullet train. So as an investor, I got to be honest, this has a huge promise for the future. And so that was one of our preliminary components. And so if you're ever considering going overseas, you have to understand the infrastructure. You have to connect with a network that knows what's going on and what the future of that place is. So again, this hopefully will give you a visual. Now let's dive in a little bit deeper. Now, I want to show you this because our team just literally just came back from this trip. We were doing an analysis project on the deal. And what's beautiful is the fact that we're able to enjoy Tulum while we're at it. But I figured you guys would enjoy this little nugget here. If you see, I look like a real traditional Puerto Rican in this picture with this hat. The backstory to that, it became an inside joke, and I think you guys will enjoy this. But I told my wife that I was going to go with the traditional Puerto Rican look. And she's like, sure, whatever, honey, here's your hat. So I pack my bags. I get to Tulum and I put this hat on, and it darn near crushes my skull. And I'm telling my wife, babe, either I got fat or something. My head got huge because I could barely fit this freaking hat on. And long story short, it wasn't until the end of the trip that we found out that my wife gave me my 6-year-old son's hat. So there you have it. That's me trying to shove in there a 6-year-old hat. But anyway, with that said, what I want to share with you now is that this is an incredible place. And this is now why we decided to get into a very exclusive place. And in fact, most people don't even know that this is even happening yet. So now meet our Tulum project and his. We are completely connected with a conglomerate of owners that own over 37,000 acres of jungle that you see here on the screen connected to Tulum. Now, what's beautiful about this is the vision for this full development in the future that hasn't even been announced yet is that they want to keep 70% jungle and only impact 30% of that 37,000 acres because they want to honor the local Tulum area. They want to keep it so that you can really enjoy what it means to be in the ocean and what it means to enjoy nature as a whole. But the point I want to make here, this is what's really interesting. In a minute, I'll show you more so you'll get a better picture. But in order to get to the Tulum beach, which is where most people want to be, you have to take this tiny little road in order to get to the restaurants, the resorts, and so on and so forth. And let's just be honest, this road is terrible. It's a 2-lane road. So before I show you so that you can gain perspective, what I love about this project is that when we got in on this deal from the very first phase, we realized that this is the only exclusive development in Tulum that has its own exclusive 4 entrances from the 307 directly into the community. So to enter, you never have to go through that 2-lane road on the beach. It's literally completely exclusive. You get in, you're in your community. And what makes it interesting is instead of having to get stuck in traffic to go through this area, they're literally building 7 exclusive entrances directly to the beach. So you just, if I'm here, which is my property, I just drive my car, park here, and I literally just walk down to the beach. So this is a very exclusive community. This is phase 2, long story. I'll have to share with that later a little bit with you. But for now, let me give you a little bit of perspective of just how bad this road is. So check this out. When you're driving here on the beach, in order to get to the Tulum beach area, you have to go through this road. It's a 2-lane road, and as you can see, it's very tight. And if you start getting to the actual beachfront sites where the hotels are and where the actual restaurants are, this is your tiny little road. And what you see, it's a very crammed road. People are walking in the middle of the street. It is so stressful sometimes, especially during peak times, just because of just how much traffic is trying to go through this beachfront to get to the access to the water. So that's the reason why when you think about exclusivity, having our own exclusive entrances really makes this piece of land so much more valuable than the traditional real estate. And that's one of the reasons why we decided during our due diligence period that this truly was a gem, that it's incredible. In fact, to date, my attorney that's in Mexico that works with the legal paperwork and the title and everything else keeps asking me, how in the world did you get in on this project when nobody even knew about it? And again, that goes back to the network, having those relationships. So now let me show you something else. To give you perspective, let's go into phase 1 so that you fully understand what we've been doing in order to step into this realm and really capitalize while enjoying the beauty of Tulum. So here we go. For those that have never been to Tulum, I'm just going to try to give you a visual. For those that have been to Tulum, when I show you this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so what I want to point out here is let's take a look at what this section looks like on the beach so that you gain perspective of just how alive the Tulum area really is. So what you're seeing here is drone footage that we took while we were there of the Tulum beach in this very spot. And this is what the beachfront looks like, from the ocean to the actual restaurants and little resorts right on the beach. There isn't a single family home here. This is all commercial. And this is the view from Taboo, which is another restaurant / resort area. And this is what it looks like all day long on the beach. Incredible amenities, beautiful beach, beautiful people, having a great time. So that's what this whole section is, which is why I'm so excited that my team can literally walk here and not have to worry about traffic because of how exclusive that real estate that we're involved in really is. So now let's dive in a little bit here. What I want to do here is kind of give you perspective so you understand just how large these roads are. Earlier, I showed you a little tiny road on a picture that showed you the roads to Tulum on the beach and how narrow it was. So what I want to do right now is show you, this is our parcel. In a minute, I'll walk you through the numbers. But what I want you to understand is these are the main roads that they're building with exclusive entrances. And here's Taboo, for example, right? So let me show you from this spot. This is a road. This is our entire team of 17 people. And look at how wide these roads are in comparison to the tiny road that people have to go through to get to the beach. So when we say we have our own exclusive roads, these are massive roads, and they're going to include parking areas and so forth so that we as owners or our tenants can go in, park their car, and just walk the beach. And so I just want to give you perspective on how that is. Now, another reason why we selected this phase 1 when we were negotiating is because we realized that we want to be a part of something exclusive, something with amenities that are built within the jungle itself. Because remember, when you're going to Tulum, yes, you want luxury, but you also want to be a part of Tulum itself. And Tulum is a jungle, the Mayan jungle. And so what's really cool, you don't see this, but these are called cenotes. There's 2 here. So our parcel of land where we are will not be developed here because this whole piece stays jungle. This whole piece stays jungle. And what we're going to do is have the team develop trails that lead you to these cenotes. Now, for those that don't know what that looks like, because it looks like just a bunch of green and dark, this is what it looked like when our team decided to go swimming in the cenotes. So from that view, this is what you see, and people get to enjoy this natural, beautiful water access directly from the property. So again, we're looking for amenities built within this property. This is exclusive. This is one of the reasons why we were so excited about getting involved in our due diligence process. So again, we have our own exclusive roads, and we have incredible water access that's natural with our own little trails that will be built as we work on this project. Next, now let's dive in a little deeper now that you know the cenotes and what they look like. And let's take a look at the actual property itself. So that parcel, which is what we call phase one, is a parcel that it consists of these lots. There's two major lots, this one and this one, which is our neighbor. This is the lot we selected. Now, this was very strategic, and I'll explain in a minute. And when you're coming through this entrance, which is what's being finished, I got to talk to the guys that are in this deal. They syndicated a partnership, and they have a really interesting strategy, which we're going to leverage as an investor. But let me show you price on the dirt. So on the dirt, we ended up negotiating and buying in phase one at $105 per square meter for this parcel. By the time this sold out, because it's already completely sold out, all of the land is sold out, the average price per square meter is $300. So on the dirt alone, we feel extremely confident that if we had to just fire sell this dirt, we're in good shape, right? But now let me show you why during our due diligence process, we wanted to connect with the other local buyers or international buyers to really gauge what the vision was for this first phase. Because if you think about it, the last thing we want is to build a beautiful mansion or a property and we're the only home, the rest is jungle. So this was really cool. In our collaboration, this group has raised the money. They begin mid-April of 2021 to build 40 smaller villas for short-term rental. They don't want to sell. They want to keep everything because they want to enjoy it. In fact, out of those 40, I think they're keeping, I forgot what percentage of those units for their own families, for the investors coming in. So they can enjoy this beautiful Tulum and still benefit from the cash flow that comes from these short-term rentals. Now, this other group also has enough to build 40 luxury villas. So this is a little bit different because they're bigger and they're beginning mid-May. And to give you perspective, what we've decided to do after this trip and after meeting with our contractors and our attorneys and everyone involved is that the highest and best use of this land isn't to build 6 small villas like our neighbors here. It's to build 3 medium-sized villas. So we're expecting on 1 acre of land to build 3 luxury villas. That's our strategy. Now I'm going to give you a couple of visuals of what that looks like so you understand what we're talking about building here. So our entrance, proposed entrance look, they're going to build an exclusive entrance. This is kind of the goal of the, again, the Tulum, we call it Tuluminati style. But let me give you the 3 layouts of what they're working on building in this particular parcel here. So this is one, it's a very popular one that they're getting a lot of demand on. This is another concrete Tulum style. And this is the other one, concrete Tulum style. And so again, these are not just villas, these are mansions they're going to be building here. Now, what's interesting is they've already got a potential investor that wants this version slightly bigger, almost 7,000 square feet, and they're negotiating a potential purchase at $2.9 million for that property on this parcel. And what we decided to do since we started doing our studies and seeing which floor plan and which design seems to have the highest return on short-term rentals and also on resale, is we realized that these are the 2 options we want to stick with, except we're going to shrink it down. Instead of having a 7,000 square foot property here, here's what it would look like. We're negotiating and we're finalizing these numbers. So these aren't exactly final, but I just want to give you a picture. So we're looking to build exactly 3 8-bedroom, 8-bath villas. So it'll be a smaller version of this, 3,500 square feet. The rough cost to do it right is going to be roughly $425,000. And if we subdivide the land the way we have it right now, basically we're looking at about $150,000 per one of those third parcels. The appraised value right now is $899,000. And the average nightly rental is $1,200. In a minute, I'm going to dive into this to show you some of the diligence that we did while we were there and with our appraiser, because we do have a local appraiser out there who's been an amazing asset for us. But again, I want to show you, this is the style that people are going to be building here. And I believe they have 2 or 3 pre-sales already based on the renderings that they're working on. So it's very exciting to be a part of it. So I'll let them take all the risk on the bigger ones. I'll let these other guys on the other side do the short-term rental on the smaller villas. And I'm going to work on 3. Here's why. Because my phase 1, I want to dip my toe in the water. I closed this deal, right? I have it locked in because I'm going to a phase 2 and phase 3. I'm already a part of that circle. But I didn't want to overexpose the company or investors. So again, we used our resource in our network to lock in exactly what we need. So the goal for us is we're going to build 3, we're going to sell 2, and we're going to keep 1 and keep it in short-term rental for all of our investors that join us, and also for our team that wants to benefit and enjoy the beauty of Tulum. So now let me show you some comps for those that don't understand. So most people that go to Tulum, unless if they go to the area closer to Playa Paraíso, what ends up happening is they're doing a lot of development here. This is, again, straight jungle, kind of like this, but now I'm going to give you a backstory so you fully understand, okay? So most people are building here and buying land, and in a minute I'll show you comps. But keep in mind that in order to get to this beach, if you're in this area, there's only one road currently, the 15. So what you would do is if you're here, you would have to drive out here. If you're staying here, you drive up this road, take 307, come back to the 15, and then boom, you get to the beach. And now you contend with all the traffic to get here. What most people don't realize, and they've been talking about this for years, is that there's a road here, but this piece of parcel is the only piece missing for them to link a second road directly to the beach. But what nobody knows is that our partners own this land, and they do not intend on actually selling that piece of land. And so technically those that built here in speculation, thinking they were going to be closer to the water, they have to turn back around, take the 307, drop the 15 in order to go right back to the beach. So that's a pain. Now we actually stayed around here because I wanted to see what the actual advantages were or disadvantages when we're looking at comps. But let me give you a little bit of information so you get an idea of what I call inferior comparable sales. So what you're looking at here, guys, is parcels of land. Most of these are sold in acreage. So you're looking at per acre, on average, the price of acres is over 855,000 US dollars per acre in these areas. That's just the dirt. That's just the jungle that you have to clear out. So compare that to our price, which is just under $450,000 with carrying costs for a year on a much more exclusive location with its own exclusive entrance to the beach. So just want to give you perspective of why we were able to negotiate and we feel so confident about this deal. So now the next piece, there's another development going on here. And what they did is they had one fake cenote that they built. So basically a little waterfront piece. They're connecting pools all the way around it, and they're building these little condos, basically. What you're looking at here is a studio, because it's not even a 1-bedroom. This is a nice little IKEA finish, but it's not a wall. You have your kitchen, your living and dining area. There's a door on this side. You have your bathroom and your bedroom. Sold for $200,000. They're literally 90% sold out already, and they've only built like literally 3 models, and they're just cutting out the pool areas right now. So this gives you perspective of the demand. Everyone seems to want to go to Tulum, and they want to own a piece of it. And that's an example of just a condo alone. So now again, on our basis, we're well below the average price per acre. Obviously, we're well below the actual value of this, but if you don't believe me, check this out. Here's an actual home that was built by one of our contacts. Right up here, it was almost a 6,000 square foot home, 5-bedroom, 6-bath, sold for over $967,165. Now that sounds insane, but keep in mind, their average rental is $1,200 a night when they rent these properties. So again, what I want you to see, guys, these are some of the styles that we're learning from, that we're seeing, and yet our comparable sales are out here for $1 million. We're in an exclusive piece of real estate with its own entrance to the actual beach. That's what we like to do. And again, I wish I could tell you that it's because Rick is such a cool guy, but really this is a testament to having the right network of people that are working with you, that are giving you opportunities. Because you see, when we got access to this opportunity, I didn't have to say, hey, my name is Rick, I own his capital. These are how many years we've been doing this. Look at the millions of dollars a month that we do in projects. No, the credibility was already established. The inner circle literally accepted us as we were because of the people vouching for our credibility over the years. And so that is really how we got access to this amazing exclusive project. But for those of you, you might say, Rick, how the freak do I get into something like this as exclusive? So let me share with you what the options are, right? To get something like this in beautiful Tulum, you really have 2 options. Right now, the traditional way is you pay retail or you develop it yourself. But most likely, if you do it on your own, you're not going to be in this area because this is exclusive, right? So you're looking at what, 900 grand, nightly rentals of about 1,200 bucks, and enjoying a nice vacation home for your family. Or you can join our fund, take advantage of this inner circle that we have and all the deals that we've transacted on, and really just start with as little as $5,000 and you can still be a part of Tulum. We're just $5,000. Think about that. Most people spend more than that on a vacation. Now imagine getting a piece of that action. So there you enjoy interest and the contingent interest on the profits. And when we're having our team trips, you can join us and enjoy the benefits of having a beautiful piece of paradise because we're a part of an investment piece. Now, I don't have all the time in the world to really cover all of the details about our phase 2, which is incredible. It's a lagoon. Maybe during the Q&A, I can give you a sneak peek on some of it. But the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that's the beauty of having a fund. You leverage the capital, you leverage the teams, you leverage the experience and contacts so that together, when you combine it, you create incredible opportunities such as this that really everyone can win from. So in our offering, it's very simple, guys. By being a part of the REG team, you can get access to our fund. You can start with as little as $5,000. You don't have to put $1 million to be a part of this, but this just gives you the ability to get a nice return and still be a part of something massive like the Tulum project we're working on. So for those that don't know what a fund is, let me give you an example, and you can check it out here on the website, realestateki.com/fund. And I don't know, Trent, if you want to put that in the chat, just in case for those that want to learn how they can be a part of it. I'm only going to take like 2 minutes, guys, here, because I would rather do a Q&A, but I want you to understand, what is a fund? How does that work? Okay. So a Reg A plus fund is not a typical, simple, easy private placement offering. It took us 15 months going back and forth with the Securities Exchange Commission and providing all these financials and audited experience and things like that so that they could approve us as a Reg A offering. Once we went through that approval, there's a really specific and broken down process that is required that you must meet in order to stay within compliance. So let me show you what that looks like. So what you're seeing here is the actual fund entity itself. We are required to have a third-party administrator and auditor because the SEC requires 2 reports a year, and one of those have to be audited financials. They require that in order for them to publish it publicly. ARC Fund Management is a company owned by his. We're the investor helping to manage the investments and so on and so forth. And all the investors that come in, whether they put $5,000, $1 million, they're all pooling capital to be shareholders in this company. From this company is where we implement the strategies that I've been talking about, the diversification approach. We're going to do developments, commercial, leverage the His Capital lending arm, which is an amazing tool, our residential and our operating partnerships. Operating partnerships, what's beautiful about this is Trent and John are operating partners with us, right? So if they're working on a deal, what we have is a joint venture with them where they're getting a piece of the action for their expertise, but then we're getting either interest or interest and profit depending on the deal. And we still are part owners or protectors. So we're secured at all times by the real estate assets themselves. And that's what makes this such a powerful, powerful vehicle. So in the case of Tulum, we have a localized operating partner. We control all the real estate and they implement. And as they implement and it's successful, we're paying out the interest, we're paying out the additional profit share to the investors as well. So that's what makes this vehicle so simple. So again, the cool thing about this is you don't need the $10 million to go out there and work on deals like this. You can literally start with as little as 5, click a button that says invest, and you can be a part of what we're working on even right now. So just wanted you to kind of, that's my shameless plug on what we're doing, and I'm super excited about it. So